not here to say that we should all be running charter flights and getting pilots on demand like Uber drivers. But still, the app has an impact. So just a quick show of hands. How many of you have taken an Uber ride before? Almost all of you. How many clicks to make a booking? One, right? How many of you have booked a flight before? All of you. How many clicks to make a booking? From Google, we saw 32.5 visits on 10.5 different websites over 4.2 different sessions. That's a lot of clicking and planning and twiddling and compared to Uber, right? And why do I keep bringing up Uber? Well, let me just start with the background here. My name is Shashank, Nigam. I'm with Simplifying, and we've worked with about 65 airlines and airports in the last 6 years, specifically at the intersection of airline and branding. So, it's really in-depth at this core intersection. And a lot of the work we do is around helping airlines predict the future and be there when they're there. Like how T was talking about earlier. They want to write the future, not read about the future of what their competitors are doing. So that's what we help airlines do. I want to begin with a story from Dubai. I was there in May, and I was supposed to go for a meeting at a restaurant. It was a dinner meeting at a restaurant. So, of course, at my hotel, instead of hailing a cab and taking out some dirhams, don't worry about all that. I just clicked one button and Ubered a ride. As we were approaching the restaurant, now this was a place I had been to previously, I can see the restaurant across the street. But the Uber guy says, do you mind if I take you on the right side of the road as opposed to dropping you here? And I can see there's traffic on the other side, but he insisted. And said, okay, fine, go ahead. And he has to go 1 mile further up, take a U-turn, and of course he's stuck in traffic. Now I'm too far to even get off and walk, right? So we spend another 20 minutes in traffic, and I'm late for my meeting. As I step out of Uber, Uber always gives you a notification, rate your driver, right? And I just click 2 stars. The moment rating goes below 3 stars, Uber pops up a message that says, why is that? Give us a feedback. So I literally type in, the driver took a U-turn and I took way too long, I told him not to, and I was late for my meeting. And I just hit send, went on for my dinner. Forgot about the incident. Until 2 hours later, of course, I'm stepping out of the restaurant for a ride back to my hotel. And of course, I pull up Uber and I click on the button, the one button you have to click on. But guess what? At that time, I had received an email from Uber, not in Dubai, but somewhere in California, I guess, saying, Mr. Nigam, we're really sorry about the inconvenience you had. I was like, okay, that's nice. And then it goes on to say, we actually calculated the average fare paid for your distance travel at this time of the day, every single day. And we realized you did pay a much higher fare, and we have already refunded you the difference in fares, and it's on your bank card. I was like, wow, I did not even ask for a refund here. I didn't even ask for, reply to my feedback. When was the last time you had, one, a reply from an airline you proactively sent a request to within 3 weeks, and then a refund without actually asking for it? I don't think too many airlines do that. But why am I bringing up Uber? Of course, Uber is not going to start an airline. They do have a helicopter service, by the way. Uber is not going to start an airline tomorrow, but why does this matter? This matters because the latest data we have is 55% of business travelers take Uber compared to taxi. That means a majority of your customers are more used to Uber than any other app. So if you're Ryanair and you want to be ahead of EasyJet, you don't look at what EasyJet is doing, you look at what Uber is doing because that's what your customers are using. That's the benchmark. The benchmark is not the airline that is doing better than you. The benchmark is what the traveler is using, right? Doing as well as the next airline will just get you up to par at best. But if you want to leapfrog, you have to think like Uber, which is what I mean by Uberization of the airline business. So how do you go from Amazon to Uber? We keep hearing, on the panel earlier this morning, 4 speakers said we want to be like Amazon. But if you want to be like Amazon, you're a great 5-step booking company. You're not a 1-click booking company. You want to leapfrog your competition, you have to really think like Uber. You have to get ahead of the game. So how do you do that? Just 3 things. There's lunch waiting, and I'm supposed to give you lots of material to talk about during lunch. So 3 things you should do to think like Uber. The first is real-time feedback system. Ross earlier from Qatar Airways talked about things going wrong and them getting feedback. And I'm a frequent flyer at Qatar Airways. I can tell you they're still working on it. Most large airlines are still working on it. Very few have got this right, where you can send real-time feedback, get real-time feedback. And there are 2 that I'd like to highlight today. One is American Airlines, and the other is KLM. Is KLM in the room, by the way? We've got one. So you might be familiar. So let me start with the American Airlines example first, which uses their in-flight Wi-Fi to deliver real-time customer service to passengers by someone on the ground. Okay? It's pretty interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may now use your electronic devices. If there are questions about your information plans, don't forget to try our new in-flight chat with one of our agents on the ground. Just launch the American app and type away.
Okay, let's see. Start the app. Got the call button. Nice. Finding agent. Yeah, I'd like to chat. Yeah, I'd like to return Sunday afternoon. Now this is slick. I could get used to this. That's perfect. Let's book it. Oh, I forgot. I really need an upgrade. No, that was great. Thanks. This was awesome. Wow, this is a first. Customer service at 35,000 feet. I'm not flying anybody else.
American Airlines previously. It's not the Singapore Airlines of the world, yeah? But, if they can do this and provide real-time customer service, guess what? Without actually having a full-flat, widest seat in the world, they actually catch up with the customer ratings pretty quick, right? So this is the soft approach. You can actually use technology to leapfrog, as opposed to working on a new seat design, which probably costs a lot more, right? And American Airlines is not alone. Virgin America has the same functionality embedded in their in-flight system on the screen in front of you, where you can get service. In China, I believe it's China Southern or China Eastern, which has introduced an iPad concierge service where you can order drinks from the back or just chat. And it's integrated, I believe, with WeChat. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan, but I think it's a WeChat integration in that case. KLM has done something else. KLM, of course, has lots of apps, and they're really leading this digital and mobile frontier. What they've done is launched a new app called the KLM Feedback app. This was launched last year, actually, so not so new anymore. What you do is you turn this app on, you select your airport. Let's say, I choose Amsterdam, and then it says, where are you? Let's say I click on check-in, and then it asks me, are you at the kiosk, desk, or drop-off desk? And I say, okay, kiosk. And then all I need to do is do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Everyone knows what's a thumbs up, right? You can just give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to KLM. And here's the interesting part. This feedback, then you can, of course, add your comments. But the interesting part is, for its key hubs, not for all of them, for its key hubs like Amsterdam and Singapore, KLM is actually completing this feedback loop. Where if you say, you know what, the lounge has no wine, that message, if it's a negative, it's sent to the station manager, who then works on refilling the wine before you leave the lounge. Now that's interesting, because there's no point getting feedback when the passenger's already left, completed his journey. You want to react right now. Right? And guess what he will remember? He will not remember that there was no wine. He will remember that you made an effort to replace the wine. Right? And that's the power of real-time feedback and customer service. Second thing you should do is rethink ratings. Do you know that, well, since all of you have used Uber, you do rate your drivers, right? But do you know that the drivers also rate you? All of us, if you've used Uber, have a rating, and the driver sees our rating before it picks us up. So if you're always drunk at 2 a.m. coming in Uber, they will not take you, okay, because of a track record you've got. But in the airline world, how many of you are staying in a hotel in London? This is show hands, afternoon. And how many of you looked at TripAdvisor before booking that hotel? A lot of you again, right? I don't remember the last time I did not look at TripAdvisor before booking a hotel. But is there a TripAdvisor for airlines? I mean, we do have Skytrax with sort of dubious ratings on their website. We do have a couple of other websites, but that's about it. Well, actually, I can share with you here that TripAdvisor will be launching a service for airlines before the end of the year, and there will be a TripAdvisor for airlines. But I think we got to go beyond, because what Uber is doing is real-time rating for each driver, right? A lot of you might have heard of this BA golden ticket. Anyone used it? The British Airways golden ticket? So how this works is frequent flyers, top of the line people, are given this golden ticket, yeah? And you're given 5 golden tickets per year, and you have the option to give this golden ticket to a crew member who made your day, who went above and beyond, who really tried to help you out. So you can give 5 of these away, and then that crew member can get recognition for it internally, potentially use it for his staff evaluation at the end. Now imagine if BA was to think like Uber. What can they do with this? Instead of just a physical card, what if every passenger can rate the crew member on the service they receive? Ross was talking about earlier how they're teaching emotional intelligence to the Qatar Airways staff. What if I could rank and rate whether the crew receives 4 stars or 5 stars? The ground operations or crew management team can actually have real-time data about which crew is performing, and over time, before the crew lands, you can actually see if there's a problem you need to rectify, or use this in staff evaluation. Let's flip this for a minute. What if the crew could rate every passenger? That's a little creepy, but think about it for a minute. What if top frequent flyers could be given these cards, which they could use for an upgrade, or for a business class check-in queue when they're flying economy? Simple things, simple gestures that airlines can do to encourage a certain behavior, like traveling only with carry-on, right? Let's think about that. There are lots of possibilities. The thing is, business travelers are already used to this. This is their behavior anyway. Airlines just need to adapt and adopt. And finally, an app that actually works for the passenger. I don't think airlines have really got their apps right. There are very few that have got it right. In fact, I recently heard Japan Airlines launched 10 apps in the last 8 months. Even if I only fly Japan Airlines, I don't think I'll be downloading 10 apps. Even if I download them, I don't think I'll be opening 10 apps every time I fly. Right? And there are lots of apps which try to be everything to everyone and ultimately be nothing to anyone. I can write that down for you later. But you have to remember that you have to make the app useful to the passenger. We saw earlier from David from Wired in the other room, Uber allows you to just hold your credit card, scan it, and all the information is in there. Why is it then that I need to enter my passport details every single time I check in? Even though I'm a frequent flyer, I'm not being used in my frequent flyer account. Yet, I need to, my birth date, on this flight I accidentally entered my birth date as 2015. And they rejected me at boarding, and I said, oh, that was a silly mistake, it's not 2015, I'm obviously much older than that. Why do I have to keep doing it again? And how many of you in the room actually remember your frequent flyer number? 1, 2, right? 2. Hyper-frequent flyers who remember your numbers. Now this is so simple. They are thinking of the customer. And there is actually a couple of airlines who have done a good job. One of them is EasyJet. You should check out their app. If you want to see what's really good and works well, it's simple, it's non-gimmicky, and it just works. EasyJet allows you to just scan your passport. You just scan your passport under the phone and you're all set. You don't have to enter your details ever again because it's stored in the app. Fantastic. I'm happy as a passenger. Even though I only fly EasyJet 5 times a year, as opposed to other airlines 50 times a year, I still want that app. right? Another airline that's really thought about it from a passenger view is JetBlue. They've just recently, a few months ago, released a new app which changes its home screen based on which part of the travel cycle the passenger is in. You can even do your business expenses in there. We've got a little 1-minute video from. It's just that simple. It wasn't a 5-minute video with 100 features or 50 buttons, right? The screen changes. And that business expenses thing is just neat. I don't need to do currency conversion. It's the one thing that makes me open the app even if I'm not flying JetBlue, right? So what can you do with the app such that passengers will open it even when they're flying another airline? Now that's interesting. That's a usable, friendly app, right? So just 3 big things there. Because when I say, Uberization of the airline industry, travelers today have evolved, right? And so has the ecosystem. Today all travelers use Uber, they use Airbnb, some might even use Tinder. But this is what is shaping the experience of travel. So you don't just benchmark yourself against the next best airline, you benchmark yourself against who is leading the innovation in terms of the customer travel, the consumer travel space. So that was what I meant when I said Uberization of the airline industry. If you want to leapfrog ahead of competition, you have to think like Uber. Download it, try it out if you have not used it yet. If you pass me your card later, I'll be happy to send you those videos or the presentation. But happy to take any questions right now. Thank you.